All right, let's get into it.
My son thinks he has the memories of his ancestors because he saw this plate outside our house today. It was way outside the backyard. And he goes, "Oh, I remember painting that." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, well, I had a dream where I was my ancestor in Japan and I painted this plate. And it's so funny that it's here now." And I thought, okay, that's a weird thing kids say. But then I flipped it over and looked at the back. And it says, hand painted in Japan. And now I'm very confused because I don't have any ancestors from Japan that I know about unless there's like a Tom Cruise Last Samurai situation. And then I'm just looking for money from that man. Give me some money, you Scientology bastard. Well, I don't know what to do with this though, because this information, I just throw it away now?
I don't know, that would be too much of a coincidence. Unless the kid already seen what was on the back of the plate and just came up with that story, it could possibly be a possessed item. And this is how reincarnation stories happen. Something to keep in mind.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but yeah, this is actually happening. This is all the good news from today in 60 seconds. You know how painful it is waiting for your battery to charge on your phone? Well, there's new battery technologies being invented by companies that could fully charge your phone from dead in under 5 minutes. And no, it's not going to be a massive power bank. It uses advanced materials that can handle higher energy flow without even overheating, meaning your phone could charge quicker than it takes you to make a coffee. And this could then be rolled out to all the major phone providers. Please, because I need it. The ozone layer, which protects Earth from harmful radiation, as we all know, reportedly is now healing much faster than expected originally, only down to bans on certain chemicals worldwide. Scientists even say if this continues, it could fully recover in the next few decades, potentially even still in your lifetime. This is crazy and something we don't think about. Global data recently has actually shown that extreme poverty has steadily declined over the last few years, with millions and millions of more people now gaining access to better living conditions and basic human conditions. Healthcare and education has become a lot bigger, and this is reportedly one of the biggest long-term improvements in human history. There is new devices being made by scientists that can pull clean drinking water from thin air. Can they pull money from thin air? That would be nice. Even in dry climates, apparently. How? They're using advanced filters and condensation systems that are being built and spending a lot of money on it, but it is actually working. They're managing to get water basically from the atmosphere, and this could mean areas with little water around the world can become self-sufficient, and everybody can have water. Make sure to hit the follow button. I'll keep you posted.
We could always use some good news.
Today's case is different from the last few we've covered. If you watch our show, the Belgian UFO wave had radar recordings and a general on the record for 30 years. Falcon Lake had medical records and a preserved shirt, and those cases had institutional weight behind them. But today's report has a minister, a deathbed confession, and a photograph nobody can find. That doesn't mean nothing happened. It means we have to hold this one a little differently, and we're gonna do just that and do it honestly. This is the Cape Girardeau crash, America's first Roswell, spring of 1941, 6 years before the event that became the most famous UFO case in history. And if the account is true, the US government had already been here before.
The frequency is going crazy and we're seeing it everywhere. But first, why are all these churches undergoing spontaneous combustion all the time, catching on fire? Completely unrelated from any kind of frequency. Check this out. That's pretty cool, right? I don't know what those beams are, but pretty cool. We're about to get to Yellowstone, but first, we've also been having all these factories just exploding randomly, completely unrelated, but the church is being on fire, all of Florida is on fire, and now we have signs of the frequency happening at Yellowstone. Also, the water temperature is going to be the hottest it's ever been, you know what I mean? It's just really heating up, completely unrelated from frequency, even though everything is frequency. How else do we know it's frequency? Well, we've had 17 earthquakes right outside of Area 51. You can't make it up. All these UFOologists and scientists, anti-gravitical scientists going missing, even complaining of, their popcorn popping when they're away from microwaves, that kind of stuff. Yeah, 17 earthquakes in a little bit over 24 hours. Which of, by the way, the missing scientists, the president came out and said that he doesn't see any connection there whatsoever. But is that true? We talked about it on YT today. And speaking of that whole mess, we have a former admiral come out telling us that these creatures, these aliens, this demonic wickedness in high spiritual places, that not only are they real, but they're watching us from these high places. You can't make it up.
Great question, Will. First and foremost, they're real. we're being visited by some type of higher order intelligence that we don't understand, and we don't even know their intentions. And it's happening often, frequently, and in our airspace, water space. So
let me say this clearly and put this out there. Any single person that's pushing us towards this narrative and this agenda, while not saying that these things are evil, are part of the agenda. It's planned disclosure. It's for the false light, which is already here. If you think things are crazy now, you have no idea what's coming.
When it comes to these things that they keep talking about, that they have no clue as to what their intentions are, there's a lot of people that believe that this disclosure is a part of the Great Deception, and it could very well be. But what if it's not? What if what they reveal isn't no different than the egg being dropped down by a rope, if anyone remembers that UAP fiasco? What then? Because I personally, in my lifetime, do not think that we're ever going to see anything that we can truly identify as being extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or even fallen angel for that matter. I think that this is something that they're always going to tease us with until the end of time. Unless whatever this thing is decides to force its presence to make itself known to us without some kind of governing body telling us that it exists or what it is, I really just don't think we're going to see it. It'll always be a mystery. I hope not. I hope there's some kind of reveal that actually brings awareness to whatever it may be that is truly legit, but I have my doubts. Let me know your thoughts and theories on this one. Hey, if you haven't done so already, and if you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
It's not just gonna fall out, like this stuff is in there, you know?
What the footage showed left them baffled. The uploader demonstrates that the flowers are firmly placed, not something that would just fall out on its own. You'd have to physically pull them to remove them. Videos like this are compelling because they remove many of the usual objections. This isn't a shaky handheld clip or a dramatic recreation. It's straightforward security camera footage showing an object moving when it shouldn't. The uploader's genuine confusion only adds to the credibility.
And like you can like see, like if I wanted to, it's not just gonna fall out, like this stuff is in there, you know?
Was this the work of an unseen presence, or is there a mundane explanation for what this camera recorded?
Take a look at this truck spilling meat all over the highway in North Carolina. Now, do you see the name of this truck? Bumgarner Services. Now, oddly enough, in North Carolina, there is a business called Bumgarner Family Funeral Service. That's a coincidence, right? What about when Daddy Trump decided to throw that Halloween party? And he had a very weird Halloween costume pull up to get candy. You see, the McDonald's sign says billions and billions served, but there are 2 kids in the stroller. That is also just a coincidence. Just like this really old and creepy McDonald's commercial where he's pulling things out of the food bag and he ends up pulling a child out of the bag. Well, it pops up on its own. But do you not find that to be a little bit weird? Especially considering the fact that the FBI literally raided a McDonald's facility because there was some really weird stuff in the meat. Now I have to be careful about my wording here, but just stop eating McDonald's. It's literally disgusting. You remember what happened to that McChicken, right? I made this video for entertainment purposes only.
Other realms are watching us on TV like it's a series or a show. I'ma repeat. Other dimensions and other realms are watching our lives being recorded like it's a TV show. How do I know this? Because there's so many shows where they know that it's a universal law that they have to tell us the truth. And there's so many shows that depicts this very thing, okay? Black Mirror does it. That Sabrina, the Witch show does it. There's multiple shows that show that they're watching us in other realms, in other dimensions, like we're a TV show. And I'm talking about your personal life. What goes on in your personal life is on a TV show in another realm. This is for entertainment purposes only.
So you mean to tell me that somewhere out in the cosmos, possibly other dimensions, that while you are watching this video, there's some cosmic entity, possibly interdimensional entity, that's watching me react and record this video for you to watch. And then also, there's probably some other entities that's watching you watch me. I wonder if those would be considered spin-off series. What an exciting life the cosmos or interdimensional space has to offer. I hope they're enjoying themselves.
Y'all, we are in the last days of the last days of preparation. The Great Rebellion is here and the shift is happening. We all feel it. Time, everything, events, everything is accelerating. The birth pangs are increasing and we are no longer at the beginning. We are in the last days of the last days of preparation. The Spirit of the Lord is being poured out on all flesh. People are dreaming again. Kids are dreaming. People are again. People are waking up and the fear is breaking. So why are you still afraid of a kingdom that's already fallen? Remember who you are. Remember where you came from. The Lord didn't just save you. No, baby, he refined you. He forged you. He pulled you out of darkness and made you a weapon for the kingdom of heaven. You are not weak. You are not powerless. The kingdom of darkness is the one that should be afraid because every knee will bow. God is not distant. He dwells inside of you, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. But unfortunately, the majority of the church has been rocked to sleep. Comfort, distraction, deception, lukewarmness. The greatest lie the enemy ever told was convincing people that he didn't even exist, that demons aren't real, that it's not that deep. Meanwhile, did you know demons tremble in the presence of a true awakened child of God? Most believers don't even realize the authority that they carry. We are not called to be passive. We are called, especially in these times, to move like the early church, like in the book of Acts, with power, boldness, fire. The Holy Spirit is not symbolic. He is active. He empowers, he equips, he sends. Acts 1:8 says, "You will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you." That same Spirit that descended on Jesus Christ, it's the same Spirit given to you, the one to speak truth, to stand firm, to move with authority and intention, to build the church, and to ultimately confront darkness in the face. The gifts are not yours. Rather, they are manifestations of Him working through you for the common good. This is the church age. It began in Pentecost, and it has not ended. But we are almost there. But this also means the same power that was given then is still flowing. The mission has not ended. The calling has not ended. So why are you living like this? Why are you living in fear? We are in a spiritual battle right now. And we don't fight for victory. We fight from victory. Because the war has already been won. So here's a call. Wake up. Stand up. Step into what you were created for. Operate in power, move in truth, walk in righteousness because time is not slowing down. It's speeding up and the world doesn't need more silent believers or bystanders. Trust and believe.
As a truther, there is a certain cycle of depression that you go through. If you know, you know. Let me explain it. It's like spiritual warfare, actually, when you continuously study and uncover the lies of our world and the matrix system. I know, it sounds so corny, but use any other term you want. Basically, the way that we've been taught is normal and how things really are is just not the case. And when you're a Christian and you're going through this truther time in your life, if that ever happens for you, you know about the spiritual warfare that happens. And it's the same thing, like alongside learning about this stuff, I'm also deeply studying the Word of God. And as much as I'm enlightened when I learn new things and when I come to new realizations, the Holy Spirit like guiding me when I'm reading the Bible, like teaching me the deeper meanings of what I'm reading so I can understand it. I'm enlightened in the moment. I'm usually like I feel really good. But with that knowledge, like slowly comes a heaviness. And I think that's important that we talk about that, because some people get lost in that heaviness and that depression. And they don't realize that it is going to end. You know, for me, it can last 5 days or something, maybe even less, maybe a little bit longer. But the whole time, it's so important when you're going through that like grieving process, because that's what it is. You're grieving the bliss that you had with the ignorance that you had. Just know that when you're grieving, you need to seek the Lord during that time. And it might not feel super great. It might not be like a big warm hug constantly. No, it's okay though, but you're supposed to stay connected with the Lord and don't stray to your old vices of comfort that you once went to. Don't go to hedonism when you're going through spiritual warfare, is basically what I'm saying. And it will pass and you will become strengthened through it. When you pray to the Lord for strength, what's going to happen? Trials. Okay? And then you're going to go through them, you're going to be hurt, and then you're going to be strengthened on the other side. But if you miss the step of seeking the Lord, then you will not come out on the other end. You understand? Or you're just going to numb yourself and you don't get better. You don't actually receive the benefits and the fruit of going through the trials.
I do believe for some people, when it comes to doing deep dives or going down rabbit holes, there is some level of faith that you may need, because it's a sick and twisted world out there that gets uncovered the more you dig.
I'm continuing my series about how my spiritual beliefs have evolved and how a lot of those things that I posted I don't believe in anymore. So let's talk about starseeds. When you first learn about starseeds or being a light worker, it feels so good and so expansive. You finally understand yourself for being different, for being sensitive. It gives you purpose and a mission that expands across the galaxy. But what you're actually doing is narrowing yourself. These stories are archetypes of the collective unconscious. But the true self exists beyond labels, stories, or archetypes. The reason that these archetypes resonate so deeply because they show up all throughout history in all cultures, myths, religions, TV, movies. These archetypes are maps for us to understand the self, not to define the self. You are meant to move through these, express them, experience them, integrate them. Carl Jung warned that if you identify with just one, you will lose yourself in it. Although it might seem like you're becoming more aware, in reality you're becoming less aware. Feel like you're expanding, but actually you're becoming inflated. This goes for all identities, but let's just talk about the spiritual ones for right now. A healer, a guru, a channeler, they start to feel that they have special access. Becomes imbalanced, they develop blind spots, and others will project spiritual authority upon them. At first, these labels help you to find community, and they help you to feel understood. But then eventually they'll become isolating, because you are not meant to stay within one label. You are meant to move through these archetypes. This is not just spiritual. This is your political labels, your identity labels, your gender labels, your sexuality labels, skin color, your religion, your nationality, diagnoses, your mental illnesses. The more you identify with I am this, the more it starts to shape the reality around you. There are many identities within the self. Most of them are fleeting, but if we hold too tightly onto one of them, it'll stop our progress. Astrology is another way that we identify with these archetypes. As an Aries, you might find yourself as a bold warrior type. Virgo, a perfectionist. Gemini, maybe a messenger. Astrology is one of the archetypal identities that we use to understand ourselves, more so on a personality level. And you could look at the starseed thing as the same type of thing, but more like your soul's personality at this time. For example, if you feel Pleiadian, maybe you identify with the caretaker, the innocent, or the lover. An Arcturian, maybe the creator or the sage. As a Lyran, maybe the rebel, the ruler, or the hero. As a Grey or Orion starseed, maybe the rebel, the trickster, or the orphan. And the archetypes break down into categories like providing structure for the world, yearning for paradise, leaving a mark on the world, or connecting with others. So if the label is helping you, then let it continue to serve you. But don't stop yourself from growing beyond it. Spirituality is the exploration of the self, and the self exists outside of all these boxes.
There are many types of light beings on Earth now, each with different functions, frequencies, and characteristics. These beings often walk as humans, but they may feel different, like they're encoded with knowledge or a mission that they can't name. I'm gonna go over some of the primary types of light workers. Number 1 is the Weavers. The mission of the Weavers is to reweave the collective fractures of memory and consciousness. Weavers mend what was split, restore ancestral and lifetime threads, and help people remember their origin before the split. They walk between timelines, bridging severance and union. You might be a weaver if you speak in symbols or myth, or you see the unseen patterns beneath the chaos. You might often feel called to shadow and light at once, and you might have a calling to unify spiritual truths. Number 2 is the Flame Keepers. The mission of the Flame Keepers is to keep the original flame of source lit in the dark. Flamekeepers carry the original codes of remembrance through heart and body. They reignite souls that have gone cold through trauma, oppression, and programming. You might be a flamekeeper if you burn bright even in your grief, or if you feel like you've still kept your spark even after long dark periods. People might feel seen and awakened by your raw presence, and you carry an intensity that shifts atmospheres. The third type of light being I'll mention is the Watchers. The Watchers' mission is to observe and record the unfolding of the collective. They are meant to realign choices and timelines through insight. Watchers bear witness without interfering until the moment of spiritual necessity. They are here to prevent loops from repeating and to hold balance. You might be a watcher if you feel like you've always been on the edge of things without acting. You see things that others don't, and you're neutral by nature, but you do have important things to say when called upon. And the last type of light being I'll mention is the Architects. The mission of the Architects is to build blueprints for Earth aligned with divine structures. Architects hold and build the frameworks for New Earth. They translate divine law into structures that restore harmony. You might be an architect if you dream of better systems and build them from scratch. You might be obsessed with design, order, or infrastructure. You think in blueprints and timelines, and you carry codes for new civilizations. There's more light beings I could mention. Let me know if you want a part 2.
I don't know how I feel about the whole light being situation, especially when someone says that there's this many light beings on Earth now. And kind of like the zodiac signs, there's almost some relatability to each one of them that makes you go out and say, oh yeah, that's totally my sign. When in reality, they all could kind of be your sign because they all fit within the realm of relatability. If I had to pick one of these light beings that represented me, maybe the Watcher, and I think that that's just saying too much. Let me know how you feel about this. Do you believe in it? And if so, what is your light being? Leave a comment letting me know. And even if you don't believe in it, have a little fun. What light being suits you? Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. And if not, have a good day anyways.